The night didn't begin with music. It began with fear, the kind that tightens your chest before you even understand why. I remember standing under flickering golden lights, the air thick with perfume, laughter echoing too loudly, too carelessly, while something invisible but dangerous hovered between us. That was when she leaned closer, her breath trembling, and said the words that would change everything. "Dance with me. He's watching. The reward is a kiss." I looked at her then, really looked, and realized this wasn't about romance at all. It was about survival. And without smiling, without missing a beat, I replied that the reward was too small, not because I didn't want the kiss, but because what she truly needed was far more than that. Before the story pulls you deeper, pause for just a moment. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, in ordinary people stepping up when it matters most, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the Kindness Chronicles. Your support keeps stories like this alive, stories that remind us who we can be. The hall was alive in the way only celebrations are, lights spilling like molten gold across polished floors, strangers brushing past one another with careless joy. But beneath all of it, beneath the music and laughter, I felt tension stretching thin as glass. She stood beside me, stiff despite her elegant dress, her hands clenched just enough to betray her calm. I had met her only hours earlier, yet something about her eyes told a story of exhaustion, of being cornered by choices she never asked to make. Across the room, a man watched us not openly, not boldly, but with the confidence of someone who believed he already owned the ending. His gaze followed her every movement, heavy and possessive, and I understood then why she needed the dance. Not to be close to me, but to be far from him. I wasn't a hero that night. I was tired, carrying my own disappointments, my own quiet losses. Life had taught me to keep my head down, to mind my own business, because stepping in often came at a cost. Yet as the music swelled and she reached for my hand, something inside me shifted. The dance floor became more than a place of movement. It became a shield. I guided her gently, slowly, as if the world had narrowed to just the rhythm beneath our feet. Every turn was deliberate, every step measured, as though I could block the eyes watching us simply by standing tall enough. The challenge wasn't the dance, it was what the dance meant. Each second drew more attention, each laugh from the crowd masking the tension that coiled tighter around us. I could feel her shaking slightly, though she tried to hide it, and I realized she wasn't afraid of embarrassment or gossip. She was afraid of consequences, the kind that follow you home, that linger in silence, that leave bruises no one sees. My heart pounded not from closeness, but from the weight of responsibility I hadn't planned to carry. As the song changed, so did the atmosphere. The man across the room shifted, his jaw tightening, his smile vanishing. I knew then that dancing wasn't enough. Whatever claim he believed he had over her, it wasn't going to dissolve with music. The struggle moved from the floor into my mind, a battle between instinct and fear. Who was I to interfere? What right did I have to insert myself into a story I barely understood? Yet the answer came quietly, firmly. Sometimes the right to act comes not from understanding everything, but from refusing to ignore something. I leaned closer, not for intimacy, but for reassurance. I held her as though the world was safe within the small space between us, as though I could rewrite the night simply by refusing to let go. That was when I realized why the kiss wasn't enough of a reward. What mattered wasn't what I would receive, but what she could gain: a moment of dignity, a sliver of control, a reminder that she wasn't alone. The music slowed, the lights softened, and for a brief, fragile moment, She breathed easier. But stories like this never resolve that simply. When the song ended, reality rushed back in. The watching eyes didn't disappear, they hardened. The night pressed forward, demanding choices. I could walk away, leave her to navigate the rest alone, and return to the safety of my own life. Or I could stay, knowing full well that staying meant stepping into conflict I couldn't predict. The struggle felt physical, like standing at the edge of deep water, unsure if you'd sink or swim. I chose to stay. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly present. I walked with her through the crowd, my presence enough to draw whispers, enough to signal that she was no longer isolated. The man approached once, his words smooth but sharp beneath the surface, and I answered with calm firmness rather than confrontation. It wasn't bravery that steadied my voice, it was resolve. The kind that comes when you decide that someone else's safety matters more than your comfort. As the night unraveled, something unexpected happened. The power shifted, not completely, not magically, but enough. She stood straighter. Her silence transformed into confidence. The man's certainty cracked when he realized he was being seen, that his control depended on secrecy and fear. By the time the lights dimmed and guests began to leave, the threat that once felt enormous had shrunk into something manageable, something exposed. Outside, the air was cool, the city quieter than the storm we'd weathered inside. She didn't ask for the kiss. She didn't need to. Gratitude lived in her eyes, in the steady way she inhaled as if reclaiming herself. And I understood then that the real reward wasn't affection or praise or even thanks. It was the knowledge that a single choice to dance, to stay, to care, could alter the direction of someone else's night, maybe even their life. We parted without promises, without exchanged numbers or cinematic endings. Life resumed its ordinary pace. Yet long after that night, the memory stayed with me, reshaping how I saw the world. I began to notice how often people ask for help in quiet ways, how fear hides behind casual smiles, how courage doesn't always look like confrontation. Sometimes it looks like offering your hand when the music starts, even when you know the dance will cost you something. If this story stirred something in you, if it reminded you of a moment when kindness mattered, or a time you wished someone had stood beside you, please take a moment now to like this video, share it, and comment your thoughts. Subscribe to the Kindness Chronicles, so more stories like this can reach hearts that need them. And before this video ends, leave a comment with this line: I choose kindness, even when it's hard. Because stories don't truly end when the screen goes dark. They continue in the choices we make after listening.